Private practice dentistry is at a very uncertain point right now, and you might be feeling some of these effects. There are several external forces hitting it. Increased competition, namely, with more and more dental students graduating and joining the workforce, and this has been a trend that's been increasing for the last 2 decades. And more school programs opening for dentistry, with several opening in 2025 alone. And you're also dealing with decreased demand. The number of dental visits per year in the United States has been steadily decreasing for more than a decade. And visits from working age adults, who make up the core of the market, is at an all-time low, many of them citing affordability as the top concern. Corporate dentistry is expanding aggressively, and they're leading with price and convenience, and they're backed by massive marketing budgets, economies of scale, and negotiation leverage with insurance companies that private practice simply can't match. And finally, advances in technology, increased regulation, and globalization has standardized dentistry and made many dental practices look similar, increasing commoditization. And those are just external forces that are hitting us. There's also internal forces that are squeezing us from the inside. We have increases in cost, increases in rent, in staffing, in equipment. And all the while, reimbursements from insurance are either stagnating or declining. And I think we're beginning to see the myth of insurance. Buyers of insurance are realizing that the things they actually need aren't being covered, and providers are seeing these reimbursement rates stagnate or drop while insurance companies record highs in profits. Just in 2024, 25% of dentists had dropped out of insurance networks, with 27% saying they were planning on dropping out within that year. All of these forces from the outside and forces from the inside, have created a perfect storm that is crushing private practice dentistry. To combat these forces, many private practices have sought out their own marketing, but the problem is that as an industry, we've confused marketing with visibility. We learn SEO because big companies still recommend it, but Google has effectively replaced it since 2016 with Google Business Profiles. So we start focusing on reviews, but it's cheap and easy to incentivize, so now everyone has good reviews. And then we chase social media because it's free. TikTok trends, dancing in front of the camera, trying to go viral, but social media platforms reward content that keeps users scrolling and not content that brings in patients. And now we're seeing the platforms that had promised us free visibility in the past turn around and say, if you want to get an advantage on our platform, you're gonna have to pay us. So as an industry, we've all flocked to advertising because it kind of works, but the problem is that it gets worse day after day. More competitors advertising means that your costs will go up while your margins go down, and people today are more skeptical of ads than ever before, and they find the brands that use them to be distasteful. 52% of Americans have some sort of ad blocker, and we're beginning to see that advertising is not a sustainable solution. So what can we do? Well, instead of chasing visibility, we need to start focusing on something fundamentally different. To illustrate the shift we have to make, let me introduce to you the concept of R-naught. R-naught is a term from epidemiology, which lets us predict how wide a virus or disease will spread. If the R-naught value is lower than 1, that means that the spread will eventually come to a stop. And if it's equal to 1, that means there will be stability with no growth or decline. And if it's greater than 1, then that means it will start growing. Now, when it comes to dental practices, R-naught is the rate at which your current patients attract other patients through word of mouth. When your R-naught's lower than 1, you can try to fill your practice up with advertising, but you're constantly having to pay Google and Meta to refill the leaks. If you're able to increase your R-naught to a value greater than 1, you can eventually move away from advertising because your practice will grow through word of mouth. Because of increased competition and increased commoditization, many practices today have an R-naught value that is lower than 1, but no one out there is teaching us how to increase it. So how can we increase our R-naught value? And to answer that question, I'm going to introduce a 3-pronged approach. The first step is to innovate the value that your practice offers. This makes you irreplaceable and separates you from DSOs and other private practices. We'll break down the current industry strategies that your competitors are taking and show you how you can innovate above and beyond it. The second step is to attract patients by presenting your new value in a way that's irresistible. So we'll show you how to use timeless marketing strategies like positioning in order to maximize the attractiveness of your practice. And finally, at step 3, I'll show you tactics and strategies to supercharge your advertising so that you can maximize your results and take over your market while you build the engine to eventually replace it. When we take this approach, not only will you increase the demand for your practice, but you'll also be able to command higher prices as people see the value that you bring and no one else would be providing that. As people engage with your practice because of that value, they'll start attracting the others. Word of mouth will become an asset that works in your favor, and you'll start building an army of evangelists that spread the word about you. And this becomes your new patient acquisition model. These are concepts and frameworks that I wish I had when I started marketing 10 years ago, and it's taken me 6 years to find and develop these frameworks. My goal is to get you so ahead of the curve and so quickly that your competition won't be able to catch up and you're able to secure a strong position in the market. You'll be able to run circles around bureaucratic DSOs who rely on size as a competitive advantage, and you'll grow month after month until you no longer want to. The perfect storm that we've been experiencing is a perfect sign that the players in the industry have become complacent, and this is a playbook on how to rise above it. So if you're committed to growth, I'll see you in the next lesson.